dangerous infighting in our new Liberal cabinet has already begun, and it's only existed for a little over 2 days. Let's go.
The world's changing in strange ways. The present feels deranged. So let's see what I think. Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things, and well, Mark Carney's cabinet was just announced on Tuesday, and the photo ops were flowing. Smiles, hugs, handshakes, and the kind of pomp and circumstance that you'd probably expect from a government trying to convince Canadians that everything is fine. But is everything fine? Or are we already seeing a level of discontent in our new cabinet appointed by Mark Carney? Well, we dug a little deeper, and you'll find the cracks are already starting to show. And I'll even give credit to CTV, who already started to, while downplaying it, report this. But there are some deep cracks already forming in this Liberal cabinet, not just in the Liberal cabinet, but the entire Liberal caucus, some of whom used to be cabinet ministers but were left out. And now, I'm not saying that some of these cabinet ministers were bad to leave out. The housing minister is one of them we're going to talk about today, who probably should never come back, but neither should Sean Fraser, and yet he's now going to run our entire justice system, so good luck with that. We were told during the election campaign, if you recall, that conservative candidates were fracturing. Remember this? When the conservatives were fighting inside the party and unclear on what Pierre Poilievre's message was around Donald Trump, that there was dissent, that unnamed sources were spilling drama throughout the party, and that the right was in chaos. The media ran with these stories, from CBC's Rosemary Barton to CTV's Vashi Kapelis, or I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, I probably didn't. But they ran these stories despite not naming a single credible source. And that's the big problem. But now we have names. Now we have actual public quotes, because the Liberals just can't keep their mouths shut. So they end up in front of a camera saying all the things that conservatives were supposedly saying behind the scenes. And now it's happening on this Liberal side. So let's talk about who is actually the one saying it. Well, it starts with Liberal MP Nathaniel Erskine Smith. He came out swinging yesterday, publicly expressing his disappointment over being removed from cabinet. He was excluded from this cabinet altogether. Now, again, came from housing crisis. Probably a good decision by Mark Carney. But what's interesting here is he didn't stop there. He took it much further, and he said on record to a reporter that he did not like how the process played out. He also said this on social media. So, 2 times he talked about the process itself for selecting cabinet. So, what happened here? Because this wasn't a leaked whisper, this wasn't a hidden source, this wasn't Vashi hiding a source, this wasn't Rosemary doing the same thing, or Caillou at CBC. This wasn't a backroom gripe. This was public dissent from within Mark Carney's own caucus, literally in front of a camera and on social media, just 3 weeks after the election had occurred. So let's talk about Ariel Kayabaga for a second, because she, who was also a minister previously from London, Ontario, another rising Liberal star MP, was also left out of the cabinet. Now, while she publicly congratulated the new cabinet ministers, insiders are saying that she's also questioning how this cabinet was picked, how these decisions were made. Quietly, carefully. But the grumblings are starting to get louder already, just days after the cabinet was picked. So, where do we sit as a country with a cabinet that already is feeling a little shady? Are we really all that surprised, considering Mark Carney has felt shady since the moment he entered office? Not as an elected prime minister, but even as an appointed one. Everything's been shady from start to current. And where's the outrage? Where's the outrage from the CBC here? Why are they not questioning when you have two actual former cabinet ministers questioning the process, whether Ariel is doing this publicly or not? You do have one that is. Where's the panel of pundits speculating about a fractured party? I thought when we see these things happen, that's when we report them endlessly 24/7 as part of the news cycle for 7 straight days. But it appears that's not what we do when it's the Liberal Party of Canada. Where are the anonymous briefings now? Where are all the evidence pieces that you've puzzled together, even though you won't reveal your sources? Because the evidence here is actually already out on social media and in interviews. But let's be honest, during the election, the mainstream media acted like liberal operatives with bylines, and especially the CBC. They ran story after story about so called chaos in the conservative ranks without any proof and without verification. And they would not reveal their sources. No matter who pushed, no matter which network you pushed, they wouldn't reveal their sources. But now that actual names are out and actual quotes are flying out there from liberal social media and liberal interviews from the Liberal caucus, revealed names, media is silent. Radio silence. This is exactly why trust in media is crumbling in this country, because it's not true media. It is partisan media. It is propaganda. Canadians can see the double standard now, and even people who have been loyal to these media outlets over the long haul have really started to see the propaganda. So they know propaganda when they see it. And if you're going to call out division, call it out on both sides. That's all we ask. Nobody's sitting here going, let's shut down the media for this. Nobody's really believing you're going to actually shut down the media anyway, and why would you? But just report both sides. If there was dissension with conservatives, first of all, give us proof. And then if there's dissension with the liberals, which we now have proof, why are you not reporting it? It needs to be reported. Because let's not forget the stakes here. This isn't just a normal election that just happened. This isn't just a normal time in our lives. In fact, Mark Carney himself has said this is the crisis of a lifetime. This isn't about hurt feelings. This isn't high school politics. This is the government of Canada at a time where we're facing skyrocketing living costs, people living in shanty towns, uncertain global markets, and not knowing where the big bad Donald Trump is going next, and serious security risks among our people, not just on our borders, but also among you being secure in your own home, and crime rates. Oh, God, Sean Fraser. That's going to hurt. Anyway, crime rates way through the roof, and already the new Liberal government is fracturing from the inside. How dangerous is that? See, we've barely caught our breath from this election, and already key players are at odds with each other and at odds with this prime minister. This is not going to go very well. And how is Carney going to handle trade talks when he cannot handle talks between his own party and his own caucus, when things are falling apart already just days after a cabinet was appointed? How is he going to handle foreign diplomacy, national security, or housing reform if his own caucus doesn't trust how decisions are being made? When you see how people question the fact that they don't even know how this was put together, this cabinet, that's a scary thing when you're all part of the same damn party. See, if he's already losing control now, what does that mean for the months we face ahead? This government was sold to Canadians. It was sold to Canadians through the mainstream media as a stable, experienced hand in turbulent times to fight the big bad Donald, who has moved on, by the way, and he's moved way on. He's now working on deals with the UK and with China, including a reprieve in tariffs with China while they work on that deal. But within 21 days of winning power, the illusion of Mark Carney is quickly unraveling. And once again, the media's silence is absolutely deafening. Canadians deserve transparency. Canadians deserve honesty. And Canadians deserve leaders who don't pretend everything is fine while their own team is falling apart behind closed doors. Now, Mark Carney doesn't pretend everything's fine in the world. He'll blame everything on Donald Trump. I'm sure he'll find a way to make his cabinet dissension Donald Trump's fault. But he does say everything's fine within his government, which we know is not true. In fact, it's publicly been released now. So this is not just political posturing. This is dangerous because a divided government is a distracted government. And we can't afford distraction right now. Right now, Canada cannot afford that. We need to build from within, which is what the Conservatives were going to do. Pierre Poilievre said it yesterday in his press conference, or 2 days ago. He said that he wants the Liberals to steal his ideas because we need to be here for Canadians. We're in a critical moment. We need focus. We need leadership. And what we've got instead is an echo chamber of platitudes, backroom appointments, nitpicking and bickering behind closed doors, and a Liberal caucus who's already questioning their own leaders' choices. This is a man you forced into office. This is a man you canceled 350,000 party votes to make sure he won. This is somebody you were supposed to support, and you're already 21 days in not supporting him or questioning what he's doing. Oh, the clock is ticking, Mr. Carney. That is very clear here. Canada deserves better. Now, before we finish up, we've got to do What the Maple, because everybody seems to be liking this segment, and I love it too, because it gives us an opportunity to showcase something great happening in Canada where we don't have to complain about it because Canadian citizens are doing a wonderful job. And today, we're actually not even going to point out a single citizen. We're going to point out an entire town. So welcome to What the Maple. It's our positive segment on things that are going great across Canada and showcasing people, businesses, and now towns doing wonderful things. And this week's shout out actually goes out to a small town in Saskatchewan where a group of seniors, so really we should be calling out this senior group, but a group of seniors frustrated by all of these rising grocery prices, all these prices that are going on and going up around them, organized a co-op buying club to save money and help their neighbors. Now, this is really cool. So what they've done is they started this group, and you should do this in your town if you can. They started this group with just 10 people. Okay, 10 people just trying to a buying co-op group to save money. Now it serves over 200 families. That, my friends, is the Canadian spirit. Grassroots problem solving. You're doing it yourself. Exactly what we've been saying in this show for the last few weeks since the Liberals won. A lot of this we're going to have to do ourselves. No bureaucracy, just people helping people. So while Ottawa's busy playing musical chairs right now and bruising egos, real Canadians are stepping up. And they're stepping up for one another. How beautiful is that? Because that, my friends, is something worth the news. That is something worth celebrating. Not our caucus, not our cabinet, that type of effort. A small town group of seniors that went from 10 to helping 200 families in a time where we all are really struggling to afford everything we live with. All right, so final message here for today's episode. Keep your eyes open. Don't let the noise distract you from what's really going on, and in particular, the mainstream media noise who will try to find other stories to bury the dissension in the Liberal ranks. And remember that this is your country. Think about it like those seniors think about it. Take it back into your own hands and do the right things for the people around you, your friends, your neighbors, your family. And it's never too early to start asking tough questions of a government, even when it's only 21 days old. Stay sharp, stay proud, and stay Canadian. This has been Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Thanks for watching. And also, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below because I'd love to hear what you have to say on this subject. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you tomorrow.